This video was made possible by Napleton Subaru of Schaumburg. Visit their website in the description for more information.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2023 Subaru Outback XT Touring. Up front is a 2.4 liter turbocharged flat 4, and down below is a CVT. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Outback XT for a couple of reasons. First of all, they facelifted it for the 2023 model year. So it looks a little different. There's a couple new features that they've added, and I've always just been a really big fan of the Outback, so it's always fun to get behind the wheel of another. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You can also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you would get a video of your car just like this one. And you can read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2.4 liter turbo under the hood. Well, basically this whole drivetrain was taken from the Subaru Ascent and plopped into this smaller vehicle. Not that much smaller, but still smaller nevertheless. And it puts out 260 horsepower from that turbo flat 4. This is Subaru's upgraded engine ever since they dropped the flat 6 option, and I really like it. I think it delivers a decent amount of power. You do have a little bit of that 4-cylinder where driving around town it feels mopey, but once you put your foot into it, it goes, and it goes with solid power, so no worries there. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT. That means continuously variable transmission, and I'm not a big fan of CVTs just across the board in any maker model. However, Subaru's been doing it for over 10 years now, and it seems to work out fine for them, or at least they fare a lot better than a lot of other makers in terms of CVTs. Nissan Chevy. Last but not least, this does have Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which is an absolutely fantastic system. I think personally still one of the best all-wheel drive systems you can find. A lot of automakers are offering all-wheel drive now, but Subaru has been doing it for a lot longer. So how does it feel to drive? Well, it actually is a really nice driving experience. It is a lot comfier than the Wilderness edition of the Outback. The Wilderness has different suspension, so it gives you a little bit more ride height, has knobbier tires, which is good for off-roading, but in terms of a car you're going to daily drive, this has quieter on-road tires, has nice, more supple suspension. And so if you're going to daily drive it and you don't go to a national park every month, this is definitely the one to go with, not to mention all of the great bells and whistles that we'll get into in a second. Visibility is pretty good. Steering input is exactly what I would expect. It's maybe a little on the light side, but that's okay. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel, and then I get a customizable digital gauge right in the center. Subaru does this in all of their vehicles, and I've come to really know and love it. I think it offers a bunch of fantastic info that I would want to know, and it has a good amount of colors. It's not the highest tech screen I've ever seen in an automobile, but this is Subaru after all. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my skip track source, voice commands, volume, and then my information selector. The reason I say that, interestingly, is because it used to be down to the bottom left of the steering wheel. They actually integrated this now with the rest of the cluster of buttons, and I really like that. Off to the right, I have my radar cruise control settings, steering assist, and my heated steering wheel. The overall steering wheel looks and feels great. Pretty much what I've come to know and love from Subaru, and that's a big plus. Off to the left, I do have a giant climate control vent, and down below I have my tailgate button, gauge dimmer switch, tailgate on and off, and then a dead switch. Moving out of the door, I have 2 different memory seat options: power mirrors, power folding mirrors, which are only available on the Touring, and then of course my auto windows, all 4 of them. A new thing for 2023 as well is the rear camera rear view mirror. So instead of having a more traditional rear view mirror, which you can select, you can actually just have a camera feed going to your rear view camera. This is so much better than a traditional rear view mirror. It's so much clearer, and with vehicles like this, SUVs being so popular, it's so hard to see out the back of them that this makes life a lot easier. Moving into the center, we do get this black bar. This is actually for the driver attention assist. So when you have this turned on, if you look away for too long, it'll beep at you and tell you to look back at the road. Then we have the giant screen. This kind of dominates the interior a little bit, not nearly as bad as like a Tesla, but they have made some UI changes, mainly the fact that now the heated seats and ventilated seats are no longer hidden in a menu. They're right down at the bottom at all times, which was a big complaint of mine with previous Outbacks. So it's nice to see that Subaru's been listening to their customer base and making changes to better suit them. The overall look and feel of the screen is fine. It's very vertical. It does feel a lot like an iPad. And I do have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and of course Subaru Starlink, all of these really nice features, and I think it's relatively easy to use. A lot of the climate controls are ran through the screen, which, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of. I like physical buttons for my climate. However, I do have temperature off to the left and right for dual zone, and my defrost are physical buttons, so I guess it's a 50-50 win-loss. Moving on to the center console, I do have my power parking brake off to the left, aux in, USB-C as well as traditional USB, and a nice little cubby to put your phone. Then we have the shifter itself. This is the same shifter shared with pretty much all of Subaru's products, and I like it. It's fine, it does the job. And off to the right, I have a view button, which allows me to take a look at the backup camera when I am stationary, but not necessarily in reverse. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2023 Subaru Outback XT Touring, and unfortunately it goes in a little bit, but with every bump it pops out more and more. So unfortunately I can't give the new Outback a pass. I really want to. This is a very active vehicle and I would want to bring my water bottle, but alas, it fails. Then we do get a center console that is dual opening, so you can open up a little tray on top, or the full center console, which does have a 12-volt outlet in it. And then we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are finished in black Nappa leather. This is the first year that Subaru is offering black Nappa leather. Now, they've offered Nappa leather in the past in their XT and Touring models, the upper trims, of course, but you could get it in this really nice sort of caramel color, which I like, but they've never offered it in black until now. So if you want that really premium black interior, you can absolutely get that. The seats are heated and ventilated. They're power and memory, pretty much anything you'd want from a modern seat. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2023 Subaru Outback XT Touring, and a couple of things to note. First of all, sitting normally, headroom is good, knee room is good. Back in the day, in the late 90s, early 2000s, Outback back seats and the Subaru Legacy, of course, the back seats used to be glorified prison cells with a little bit better upholstery. They were awful to sit in. That started to change around the 2010s, and now it's actually great. I do have cup holders that fold down. I also have rear heated seats, 2 vents, and 2 USB chargers. I mean, overall, in terms of a vehicle of this size and caliber, this is a great back seat. I'm fitting totally fine. I'm 5'11", I'm not a small guy. So, if that should tell you anything, it should be 2 thumbs up. I also do not get a third row. The Outback is not offered with a third row, which I prefer because I think this would be way too tight for a third row. Speaking of the back area, however, let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the 2023 Subaru Outback Touring XT, and we do have a trunk release button here. And then it'll go up. It does have a power tailgate, which is very, very nice, and I have some options for that here. Once we are in the back, I do have these really nice handles to let the second row of seats down. So just like that, ready? Boom, just like that. Really, really easy, and of course, that's for the other side as well. I get these nice little cargo nets. I do get a 12-volt outlet down here, which I love to see in the back of cars. So nice for tire inflators or camping trips, whatever it might be. I also can pull up this bottom, and we do get some tools and a jack and things like that, of which down below you do get a spare tire. Love to see that, because some modern cars don't give you spare tires anymore. And then, once we want to close it, just come up here, hit the button, and it power closes. It's really, really quiet. The plane above, wherever it is louder than the tailgate closing, and I love that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I could leave or take this car. Here's the thing, the front end is a little too gothic, a little too teenage angst for me. It looks like it has running mascara, and that's not my words, that's actually my girlfriend's words. But overall, let's do a walk around. I like the overall look of the Subaru Outback. I always have. I always liked the longer roofline. I've always had an affinity for wagons. And of course, that checks this box pretty well. However, I do want to talk about what's tacked onto the tailgate. This is what I wanted to talk about. So these two over here, these are chrome pieces put onto the car. This is a $200 option for these two little chrome bits. I have no idea what they're for. My theory is that if you put a bike rack on the back, it would rest on this rather than the paint of your car. But I have no idea. The Subaru dealership that I borrowed this from has no idea what these are actually for, if they're just style pieces or if they have a use. I don't know. These are very, very weird, and most Outbacks will not have that on it. It is an added option. This is the only one I've seen with this added option, which is very, very weird. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. But let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the brand new Subaru Outback XT Touring? Well, I've always loved the Outback. Ever since the older models shown here that I've driven, I've always liked them. I've always compared them to a golden retriever. They just seem to want to take on more and more, and they're very happy to do so. They're fun, they're lighthearted, they're ready for anything. Yes, buying a Jeep and taking it to Moab, Utah is cool, but honestly, I feel like these, especially in the wilderness trim level, are just as capable. Unless you're truly rock crawling, this will get you where you want to go. Mud, rain, snow, sleet, whatever it is. And I've always liked that feeling about the Outback. Will I ever utilize its off-road capabilities? Maybe, maybe not. I go to a fair amount of national parks every year. I enjoy some off-roading, a little bit of dirt driving here and there. I'd probably use a little bit of its capabilities, but I like just knowing that it is capable. Pair that with the very, very comfortable interior. Fantastic features, heated and ventilated seats, Apple CarPlay, a nice Harman Kardon sound system, the camera rear view mirror, the driver assist, Subaru's EyeSight system, black Nappa leather. The pieces really start to fall together. It starts to make a lot of sense. This car just makes a lot of sense. Now, it is pricey, over $40,000, but that's kind of the way that nice cars are going these days. They're not getting any cheaper, unfortunately, and for what this vehicle is capable of, I feel like that price is fine. Anything that's $40,000 is going to be a hard pill to swallow. At least make the pill worth swallowing. It's good. It's very, very good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Steven over at Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me take out their Subaru Outback Touring XT or XT Touring. They are absolutely awesome. They have tons and tons of these on the lot, as well as, of course, Imprezas, Crosstreks, the new Solterra, the Ascent, of which I have reviews of most of those that I'll leave at the end of this video. They are absolutely awesome. Please check them out with the information up on the screen or linked in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.